Would you agree with this statement? Everyone is a gift to this world in some way. That's what we're pondering today on The Art of Lifing with Keka. Let's think about this statement for a moment. Everyone is a gift to this world in some way. I would like to say that I want to live my life with that principle in mind. That at the end of the day, whether we meet someone and agree with them or disagree with them, or we see a really bad side to somebody, if we're really annoyed with somebody, that maybe we can remind ourselves, everyone in this world has a gift to give. Everyone is a gift to this world in some way. Now, when I think about that, I think to myself, there are people that have hurt me in the past and I haven't fully resolved it yet. There are people that I tend to dislike, maybe not many, but a little bit, but at the end of the day, do I look at those people that I may not have positive feelings towards and still say that they are a gift to this world? I feel like, yeah, whether we see it or not, they are a gift to this world. But increasingly, in our social world today, we're becoming more and more polarized. It's no longer just turning on the TV and watching the news of the day. Our world today is one where we navigate how we get our information, who we get it from, when and where we get it. So what that means is that I can go online and I can read a piece of news, and if it starts to say something I don't like, I can just discard it and I can go and find something else that agrees with me and say, yep, this is what I want. I can talk to people that agree with me and say, yeah, we're on one team. If I start talking to someone who might disagree with me and I don't like it, I can just shut them right out. So we're getting to the point now where it's so easy for us to just surround ourselves with people who agree with us, with the things that we like, the things that we want to see. And we're not forcing ourselves to go into that zone of uncomfortableness, where I'm like, I don't like what you're saying, but I'm going to force myself to listen to you anyway, because I don't have to. But here's the thing. If we want to be better people, if we want to create a better, stronger community, if we want to create a better, stronger world, the only way we're going to get there is if we make the commitment to listen to the other side, to listen to the enemy, to listen to people that we don't like, and get their perspective and understand it. Because what we see is only from one perspective. I was at an event one day in Kitchener-Waterloo, and I was in a hotel. We were coming down the elevator, and this gentleman who was working there said, have you ever seen anything like this? And he held out this apple. And no word of a lie, this apple was bright red on one side and bright green on the other side. And there was almost like a clear divisive line in the middle. I don't know enough about farming to know how that's even possible, but there it was. I was staring at this apple. And it made me think that, our perspectives are so determined by the way in which we look at this. If I looked at that apple from the green side only, I'd be like, that's a green apple. But someone looking at it on the other side is going to say, no, you're crazy. That's a red apple. And I'm saying, I don't see any green. You're nuts. But if we just turn it, there's other sides to the story that we can see. So, when I was in high school, a friend of mine started a debating club, and she said, okay, you have to support me. You're coming into debating with me. So I first went out of obligation, but I must admit the debating bug kind of caught me. And so I continued throughout high school. I went into university, and I used to debate in university as well. I actually went to the World Debating Championships in Stellenbosch, South Africa, which was amazing. But the best skill I learned from debating was to force myself to look at different ways that we can analyze a particular situation. And I'll give you an example. There was one debate at the World Debating Championships where we were the opposition side, and the government stood up and made a case for why blood sports should be banned. I'm a vegetarian. I don't believe in killing animals. I fully agree with what the government's case was in the sense of blood sports should be banned. If I had to argue it philosophically, that would be the position I'm taking. However, I was on the opposition side, and I had to come up with reasons as to why blood sports should be allowed to continue. And that's the kind of thing that I think we're missing today. We go onto social media. If you start to talk to somebody who disagrees with you, have you ever had this? I've had friends who've come to me and said, you should just unfollow that person or unfriend that person because they don't get it. They don't understand. my inclination is to say, though, that, you know what, if I am friends with that person, there is some value that I see in them. And so why would I unfriend them because we don't see eye to eye? We really need to look at things more deeply, and maybe that way I can better understand this person. When I worked at IKEA, one of the best lessons that an HR manager gave me once was when my manager and I weren't seeing eye to eye on a particular issue, and this was really important to me, but I didn't feel like I could go in and challenge my manager. I was frustrated and I didn't know what to do. And so this HR manager said, you know what? Take your manager into a room and both of you make the commitment that you are going to resolve the issue no matter how long it takes. You know, put on those boxing gloves and keep going at it, and do not give up until you come back with a resolution. Make that commitment to each other when you first go in to say, we're not going to leave this conversation. We will not abandon each other. We are going to keep working on this until we find the solution. And you know what? That's what we did. And you know what happened? We came up with a solution that worked for both of us. But it was a really good lesson that there are times in life where we have to go in, put those boxing gloves on, make the commitment to find that solution and not leave until we get it. Now, in this day and age, if nobody's forcing us to do that, we have to find the self-discipline in ourselves in order to be able to do that and better understand people. So I go back to that term, everybody is a gift to this world in some way. I want to embrace that as a philosophy in life. I have to say that I'm not quite there yet, because there are people that, you know, if I'm frustrated with them, I might not be so generous with that terminology, but I do feel like deep down inside, I believe that that is there and I have to find it. It's my job to be able to look at anyone and everyone around the world and say there is some gift that this person has to give to the world. And if you keep that as your compass, it gives you reason to continue those conversations and continue digging further until you can better understand each other. In a world where we're so increasingly polarized, the only way we can bring ourselves back together to create a stronger society is if we make that commitment to better understand each other. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, then please like it and share it with anybody that you think might be interested in this content as well. I would also love it if you could subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every Tuesday. And last but not least, if you have any comments, I would love to have a conversation with you. Let's do this journey together. Let's master the art of lifing and really do life on purpose.